6 months ago, I had no proper routines or regimens set in place for myself whatsoever. Every day I would wake up, scroll, lay in bed for most of the day, and do degenerate things like eating junk food and watching countless hours of YouTube. I wasn't working out because whenever I tried to, I'd end up feeling nauseous and vomiting, and I was hardly ever working. No ambitions, purposeless, directionless, and feeling completely lost, I finally decided that it was time to make some changes in my life. I had had a background of being disciplined to an extent, but it was never like I stuck with a whole routine over a long period of time consistently, pertaining to morning and night. At one point towards the middle of my junior year in high school, I was waking up at 5:45 a.m., having oatmeal for breakfast every morning, hopping in the cold shower, and then doing a 10-minute meditation before school, but I only kept up with that for a few months. But I remember how much better I'd feel every morning after doing that. During that time period, I was actually giving into a lot of degenerate things. Doing those cold showers in the morning was the best way for me personally to cultivate the amount of energy that I needed throughout the day. And so that was really the only reason why I was doing that routine. It was just because I needed the energy boost at the time. But once I got to a point where I was able to sort of push myself out of, for example, the binge eating, right? Once I stopped wanking off as frequently, I was able to naturally have more energy throughout the day. And so because of that, I ended up just dropping the routine altogether and not really thinking much of it ever again. I was still taking cold showers towards the end of warm ones, still meditating now and again, but it was never the same as it was during that particular time period. I never got that same feeling of being so woken up even after a shitty night's sleep or so bright-eyed in the morning. And it didn't seem to affect me much at all, right? I was moving through my life pretty well, especially around late 2023 to early 2024. I was doing pretty well in my life. But then when high school ended and I was struggling out there on my own, I ended up falling off completely for a little while. And there were a lot of different reasons factoring into why this happened, but one I know for certain is that I was lacking structure almost completely in my life. Had I kept up with that routine, had I continued it into life through and after high school, I would have been in a better spot than where I ended up landing myself at in the end. I had no clear purpose in my life up to that point, so I had no clear reason to be implementing any sort of regimens or routines, and this was coupled with the fact that I was also hardly ever working. And don't get me wrong, I don't regret this time, because from experiencing this low, I was able to bounce back up 10 times stronger than before. But I became that person I one day feared of ever becoming, the wake and scroll, out of shape, lay around all day, be miserable version of myself. Sure, I was finding a lot of entertainment throughout the day, but once that was gone, I was just back to being that person who was miserable with who they had allowed themselves to become. One of the biggest things for me personally when it came to being proud of who I saw in the mirror every day and feeling great about who I was becoming more disciplined. It was re-implementing these routines that were hard to do again and sticking with them. I think it was around a month or two into posting content where I started to re-implement that same morning routine that I used to have again. And bro, I hadn't taken a full all the way cold shower in so long. Like up to that point, I just been turning the nozzle all the way to cold after a warm shower. So that was really the hard part for me. But I'd had a memory resurface from back when I was a runner after hitting a really hard workout during the summertime, coming back inside, hitting a cold shower, and it feeling genuinely relaxing and refreshing. So I came to the conclusion that physical exercise before taking a cold shower plays a major role in how well your body is able to adapt to the temperature of the water. So I started to hit 30 push-ups before hopping into the cold shower. And these cold showers have become so much less daunting and so much more bearable ever since. And then I found out about the effects of looking at your phone within the first hour to hour and a half of waking up. So every morning I began to keep my phone shut down until I needed to use the timer for my 10-minute meditations in the morning. After I'd gotten this whole routine squared away and put in place for myself, I felt 10 times more motivated to do the work that needed to get done for the day, and 1,000 times better overall. Doing the cold shower in the morning wakes me up and calluses my mind for the day, and doing the meditation in the morning helps me regulate my emotions throughout the day. Not looking at my phone within the first hour and a half of the day made it so that my brain craved screen time less as the day went on. This is because when we first wake up in the morning, our brains are more susceptible to taking in information. This is why I also started implementing positive affirmations into my morning routine. Our brains are in a state called theta during this time, but once our brains have adjusted more to the day, it's called alpha. When we are in the alpha state, we are in what is described as being a more relaxed but alert state of mind. And the second but last routine I'm going to be discussing in this video is my nighttime routine, which I've actually only just recently implemented, but so far it has honestly changed my life. For years, I have struggled on and off with sleep, and this is due to a number of reasons, but one of the biggest ones in my opinion is my constant thinking. As of recently, I've had some sleepless nights here and there. I've slept through my alarm almost every single day, sometimes as late as 1 or 2 in the afternoon. But over the last week or so of implementing a proper nighttime routine for myself, I've been able to change that situation drastically, and I want to go ahead and share with you what I do. First things first, I take a nice, relaxing, warm shower. I usually turn the water lukewarm and just lay in there for a while. That's what's personally most relaxing for me. Next, I do 5 minutes of stretching, any type of stretching that's not too physically strenuous, and then I hit a 5-minute meditation after that. Keep in mind, while I have these timers running for myself, I keep a red color filter on my phone screen. I'm going to show you an example of me putting on this color filter. I own a Samsung, so this process might look a little different for you. This red light essentially triggers off a melatonin response inside your brain, naturally allowing you to feel more sleepy. After I do all this, I read a book for 30 minutes, and then afterwards I lay in bed and do a Navy breathing technique. Essentially, in order to do this, you must breathe in deeply through your nose, hold for 5 seconds, then breathe out 5 consecutive times. Afterwards, try to count to the number 20, which after doing all the other steps in this routine, you're most likely not going to be able to do. And if you're anything like me, you will be able to fall asleep within the first 30 minutes. I can almost guarantee you that. Now, these are just my morning and night routines. This is not including my workouts, my routine for posting, or anything like that. But a good night's rest and a great start to the day are essential for me to be the best version of myself each and every day and function at my highest capacity, not only for myself, but for you guys and everyone else around me. I hope this message helped you today, my friends. Keep putting in that work towards becoming at least 1% better each and every day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.